and leave you forever. In the content I present in my videos, a recurring theme emphasizes the futility of seeking revenge on a narcissist. I consistently stress that despite the desire for payback, it's more constructive to gather the pieces and forge ahead in life. I've highlighted that harboring spiteful feelings is ineffective because it's nearly impossible to inflict the same level of harm on the narcissist as they have inflicted on you. It's a battle that is almost unwinnable. However, these statements don't suggest that narcissists are impervious to pain. On the contrary, there are specific actions that can genuinely hurt a narcissist, even if they don't openly express it. These actions can wound them deeply, leaving a lasting impact. In this discussion, I will outline some of these actions that can leave a narcissist hurting for a significant period. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're here for the first time and have a keen interest in understanding more about narcissistic abuse, I encourage you to subscribe right away. Also, if you have any queries as you navigate through this topic, please feel free to pose them anonymously. Now, without any further ado, let's delve deep into the subject matter at hand. First and foremost, one of the most impactful ways to cause lasting emotional distress to a narcissist is through deliberate neglect. Ignoring someone is universally recognized as a method to evoke feelings of discontent. However, the effect of disregarding a narcissist, an individual who thrives on your attention, energy, and everything you provide, is akin to cutting off their oxygen supply. This is something narcissists find particularly intolerable. Initially, you are perceived as someone unservingly devoted to them, someone who would never abandon them under any circumstances. This is a primary reason they were initially attracted to you. Therefore, when you deliberately ignore them, it deals a severe blow to their self-esteem. Moreover, your indifference compels them to exert extra effort to regain your attention or seek an alternative source of dependency. In many instances, they may attempt a combination of these strategies, a level of exertion they would rather avoid. They prefer you to remain passive and easily manipulated. Why does this action cause such profound hurt in them? While they may not openly admit it, the pain originates from a sense of shock and disbelief. They never expected you to reach a point where you would completely sever contact or ignore them indefinitely. Furthermore, it deals a blow to their inflated self-esteem. By freeing yourself from their manipulative tactics, you have emerged victorious, regained control, and extricated yourself from their toxic influence. The loss of your support induces significant distress in them. Although their nature dictates that they'll eventually move on, the moment you cut off all ties and communication with them becomes a lasting memory that they'll carry with them for a long, long time. Moving on to the concept of the narcissistic injury, a severe blow to a narcissist's self-esteem, it occurs when you hold them accountable for their actions, establish boundaries or standards, or subject them to criticism. Whether the criticism is professional and constructive or results in their embarrassment or humiliation, it wounds them deeply. Essentially, you are puncturing the fantastical bubble within which they reside. It's crucial to understand that there's the real world where we all exist, and then there's the narcissist's highly distorted version of reality. This is where they dwell. Therefore, bursting this imaginary bubble momentarily compels them to confront their true selves, something they vehemently loathe. It hurts them because, at their core, they harbor intense self-loathing and refuse to admit that their behavior might be inappropriate or flawed in any way. I've previously shared a comprehensive video detailing how I inflicted a narcissistic injury on the narcissist I encountered. Just as I explained my process, others have recounted how they intentionally or unintentionally caused a similar injury. This inevitably results in a dent in the narcissist's ego, an experience that stays with them, When survivors are responsible for causing a narcissistic injury, even if they are unaware of their actions, the likelihood of being subjected to manipulation diminishes. At the very least, it takes a considerable amount of time for the narcissist to consider another attempt, as they deliberate multiple times before deciding whether to approach you again. Moving on to the third action that leaves a deep imprint of distress on a narcissist for an extended period: rejection. If you take the initiative to terminate the relationship and walk away, you wield significant power over the narcissist. They typically desire to be the ones to end the relationship, craving control. They ensure they have a new support system in place, allowing them to orchestrate the end of the relationship on their terms. If they are the ones to leave, it simplifies their task of spinning a woeful tale, playing the victim, and garnering sympathy and support from others. This also facilitates a more effective smear campaign against you, with statements like, "I had no choice but to leave. They were untruthful, disloyal, and much more." When you are the one who decides to leave, you strip them of these manipulative tools. They might not have a new person readily available to depend on entirely. While they may have some support, it's not someone they're eager to rely on for the long term. They can still resort to lies and play the victim card, but the impact won't be as significant. Given that you were the one who initiated the breakup, you took control and might have even severed their access to their living arrangement or financial resources. Consequently, your decision to walk away becomes a devastating blow for them. Emphasizing this point, they never anticipate you taking such a step, leaving and maintaining your distance. When you execute this action, it leaves an indelible mark on their memory, profoundly affecting them. The fourth aspect involves moving on. In my interactions with numerous survivors through emails, personal sessions, and live chats, a recurring narrative often surfaces. I had genuinely moved on. I was beginning to feel better. No longer obsessing, no lingering upset about the past. I was making progress with my life. And then that's precisely when they attempted to manipulate me again. I shared the exact same experience. It's as if they suddenly realize, "Oh, it seems like they're feeling better. Let me send them one of those random 'I miss you' texts and append their entire day by triggering a whirlwind of emotions." It's a facet of the disorder, one of many that I admit I don't fully comprehend, because my mindset simply doesn't align with this behavior. They've seemingly moved on from us. They engage in deceitful actions, and in some instances, we provide them with so little towards the end. It's perplexing, isn't it? We offer them nothing, and yet they persist in not letting us be. See what I'm getting at? Narcissists don't depart until it suits them. When the relationship concludes, you assume they won't come back. They've pushed you away. They're finished with you. But just as you begin to recover, they resurface. It's as though they can detect an opportunity for manipulation. It's like they have an instinct for it. Frankly, it's bewildering. Either the narcissist desires us, or they don't. I can't comprehend it. Yet, their timing always appears spot on. However, it differs for each person. I fell for it again 3 months later. Some individuals report falling into the trap again after a month of feeling better. The timing is always variable, and it's something that leaves me puzzled. But let's set aside my grievances. Your progress, whether in matters of love or not, is inconsequential. If you're simply moving forward in your life without any romantic entanglements, and as you start to heal and feel better, perhaps engaging in healthy practices like joining support groups or undergoing therapy, and life begins to feel wonderful again, it's no coincidence that they attempt to return and exploit your progress. I genuinely don't believe it's because they just know. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to succeed. It becomes evident after enough research. They're profoundly jealous and insecure about everything. But your moving on deeply upsets them and leaves a lasting impression. Now let's take a moment to summarize. Most narcissists won't openly admit that these actions cause them distress because it would damage their pride and ego. They'll strive to maintain a tough or emotionless facade. Therefore, it's important to understand that while the actions on my list do inflict pain on narcissists, they will inevitably move on to someone else in their perpetual quest for unattainable perfection and happiness. This is the cycle. This is the nature of it. I want to dispel any illusion that these actions can transform a narcissist into a better person or make them pursue you indefinitely. They won't. They may ruminate on these things, reflect on them, and be disturbed by them, but they do move on. They stop chasing. It's inevitable. This isn't a list of actions you necessarily need to take against a narcissist. Your primary focus should be to exit the relationship, heal, and center your attention on yourself. It's not about being spiteful. It's simply acknowledging that there are things that cause them pain, things that will bother them for a long time. They probably won't disclose this. Their pursuit and relentless chasing after you won't last forever. However, if you act in your own best interest, you'll likely end up naturally performing most of the actions on this list. That's why all of this is so potent. You don't need revenge. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. Prioritize yourself. Do what's in your best interest, and these things will naturally follow. It's like accomplishing two objectives with one simple action. The fifth element that profoundly affects a narcissist for the rest of their lives is the fear of being forgotten. Narcissists rely on constant ego reinforcement. They are addicted to attention and admiration. Even as I was formulating this and now expressing it, I find the mere discussion of them to be draining. When they sense being forgotten, it deals yet another blow to their inflated ego. They are forced to confront the reality that they are not as central as they perceive themselves to be. The world does not, contrary to their belief, revolve around them. This realization might prompt them to regain control. They might engage in attention-seeking behaviors if they sense that someone is gradually distancing themselves. So, don't let these individuals torment you endlessly. They'll give it their all, I can assure you from personal experience. I can vouch for this. At times they persist, whether you're aware of it or not. Some of them endure for the long term. Another action that inflicts a profound wound on a narcissist is when you overtly move on with someone else. While this could generally fall under the category of moving on, I wanted to distinguish it to emphasize a difference. Life continues without them, whether with a new partner or if you choose to spend some time alone. Honestly, they despise both scenarios, but witnessing you with someone else is evidently more agonizing, as they grapple with emotions similar to what we feel when we see them with a new partner. They assess their own situation just as we do. They feel jealousy and begin pondering questions like, what's so special about this new person? What's happening here? A narcissist might strive to regain control in this situation, attempting to divert your attention from your new relationship and lure you back to them. And as I mentioned, they contemplate many of the same things we do, and I believe they experience self-loathing similar to what we might feel at times, observing you move on with someone else, progressing and finding happiness in your life. This is something they don't easily let go of. So I encourage you to share in the comments what you believe deeply affects a narcissist. Let me know if there's something you intentionally or unintentionally did that you think has caused hurt, dealt a blow to their ego, damaged their fragile self-esteem, or inflicted a narcissistic injury. As always, feel free to share your insights with me. Oh, and from time to time, I receive comments asking about the meaning of spill the tea. To spill the tea, like the beverage you sip, actually means sharing some juicy information or gossip. You can either gossip or tell the truth. I tend to lean towards telling the truth, but essentially, it implies sharing revealing details about the narcissist in your life. In simple terms, spill the tea means we're having a conversation in the comment section. So don't hesitate to comment, even if it's about my occasional use of strong language. That's perfectly fine. I genuinely don't mind. It's entertaining, and I typically don't delete such comments because they amuse me. So feel free to share your thoughts openly. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, as it greatly supports me. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and sharing the video if you think it could be beneficial to other survivors in spaces where my videos might not have reached. Wishing you a wonderful day, survivor, and remember to take good care of yourself.